It's your number one LEGO Star Wars Smart Play fan here, and welcome to Ask MandR episode 395, the series where I answer your questions. So if you have a question or topic you want covered on next week's episode, leave it down in the comments section below. And if you enjoy this one, hit the like button for Smart Darth Vader. Wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to Ed for gifting me this very cool Boston Celtics number 1 jersey. Actually, a little double meaning wearing this one this week, of course, with the recent return of Jason Tatum. So life is good. And let's get into our first question from Steve, who says, why do you think that LEGO changed their mind? No, wait. I actually wanted to talk about something else first. I've watched some Smart Play reviews. There aren't a ton out there, of course, but we'll get to that. But I actually watched Brick's review of the X-Wing first, and he said something that really struck me, and I didn't like what he said, and so I wanted to discuss that.
Because I wanted to bring you something very rare these days, a fair and balanced review of a product. However, unfortunately, I cannot give you a fair and balanced review here because, as I realized by the time I had finished building this is a purely bad product. I am so sorry to say it is so much worse than I thought it could be, and it's definitely a case of very, very bad, deceptive, and false marketing.
I actually agree with quite a bit of what he said there because, like, it's nice to hear someone call LEGO on their false advertising, which is just black and white to me. It's either true or it's false, and in a lot of cases recently, it has unfortunately been false. And so it's nice to hear from another big LEGO reviewer out there. But what caught me off guard was him saying at the very beginning that he wants to provide a fair and balanced review, but on the other hand is unable to because the set is bad. A set being bad doesn't mean your review is not fair or balanced. Your review is your review. I'll use the AI overview definition. It just says it's a critical evaluation, survey, or examination of a product, service, performance, or text, often providing an opinion to help others make decisions. And that's the review. And so Jang's review, whether the set is good or bad, is still his review, and it might be biased in one way or another because Jang has his own life experiences, like I have my own life experiences, like you have your own life experiences, and those may make you feel certain ways, and like whether you've seen the Star Wars movies or not would be a really surface level example of what your bias may be towards the X-Wing set. Have you seen Star Wars? Yes. Okay, so you know that X-Wing looks bad. That's a bias. And so being biased is just part of life, and I don't necessarily view that as a bad thing. It's just, you know, you got to know that that's going to be there with anyone and everything. And that's why, of course, disclosures are important, and why I think it's important that Jang, as someone who's not under the puppet hand of LEGO here, kind of recognize that his review is an unbiased review. It's his review. He has no outside forces influencing what he is saying or what he is doing. And part of the reason why I bring that up is, of course, I've heard some rumblings over the last week or so.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
That LAN sent out an email that, you know, all the sets that they've gotten or are going to be getting, or maybe if they go buy them on their own, but they've still gotten an email that's basically to the effect of, hey, these Smart Brick sets, you know, they're not for you. They're for children. So keep that in mind. And if you have any issues, probably mostly meaning like if you have bad wrong think, hit us up. Let us know why you're feeling this way so that we can fix it before you make a review. That was kind of the feel that I got for the communication that may or may not have gone out to LEGO ambassadors. And of course, that's something that I think you guys should know, consuming some of the reviews that may or may not be out there. I don't know. I was on a cruise over the weekend. Are the land reviews out? I don't know. I've been out of the loop. But I think there are some forces at play that people need to be aware of where like, Jang's review is literally a fair and unbiased review. It is his review with no outside influence or forces coming in and being like, well, Jang, you're holding it wrong. Like the iPhone, that was a good reference, the old iPhone one. You know, you're just holding it wrong. And that's, of course, what LEGO would tell you if you went to LEGO and you're like, why is my Smart Brick continuing to play the same sound over and over again, even after I've taken the green hammer away, stuff like that. Like, oh, you must be doing it wrong. It's like, no, the product is just bad. So I think the age-old saying of the set was provided for free by LEGO and all opinions are my own no longer really applies because LEGO is privately reaching out saying, hey, if you have basically the wrong opinion, reach out to us and we'll fix it. Like, that feels like what's happening to me. So stuff like that could make your review unfair. I think all reviews are inherently biased. It's a review with an opinion. Unless there is no opinion, then there is no bias, but that kind of removes the entire point of wanting to watch a review. If you don't want to like see what someone feels about a thing, then you just want to watch an ad for the product, which you can of course get on lego.com. So why are you on YouTube? But that's, I don't know. I've got some feelings and thoughts on all of this sort of stuff, and just what Jang said over the last week whenever that review came out, it just kind of struck a chord with me. And I was like, why would you think your review is unfair or biased because you think the set is bad. Like, I think the community as a whole needs to realize that sometimes stuff's just bad, and it's going to get a negative review from a lot of people because it's bad.
It's bad.
You know? So, I don't know. That's my thoughts. I just wanted to ramble a little bit about that, but we'll get into our real first question from Steve, who says, why do you think that LEGO changed their mind about sending the whole wave of Smart Play sets in January for their LAN members to review? Some of them are my friends, so I try not to be too mean, but I have my opinions. For LEGO to then only send out 2 sets in March, and it is by far one of the most fascinating things that you will probably never get an answer to, unless it somehow, makes its way down to me and I talk about it. But the deal to me seems that they got cold feet, and obviously with apparently a big email that went out that was like, hey, make sure you come to us first if you have any negative thoughts about the Smart Brick sets before you put them in your review so we can help guide you with whatever, Like, to me, it sounds like LEGO was worried that they would get a bunch of negative reviews, which, why would they be worried? They're in good hands. And so they probably just decided to not send all of the sets out to all of the people that they were going to. And that's probably what happened, because it's, March 9th, and I have yet to see a LAN member with all of the sets that got them for free from LEGO, and most of them don't go out and buy the sets if they don't get them, and so you're not getting a lot of reviews from that perspective right now. I really think it is LEGO just getting cold feet about the potential reviews and deciding to just put all of their money into the insane mass marketing that they have been doing with this, sending it to big... Someone commented on my video last week and said they saw Smart Bricks on Good Morning America. Now, I don't know if that was as an ad, like literally between normal programming, or as part of the programming where the hosts of Good Morning America were like, LEGO just released their new Smart Brick and we should check it out here live, and like trying to appeal to the audience of people that watch Good Morning America that aren't going to watch MandRproductions review on YouTube, of course, again. So yeah, I just think they got cold feet and they were worried about getting a bunch of negative reviews, especially when it comes to the Smart Play compatible sets that don't actually include the Smart Brick. So they just sent out 2 that include the Smart Brick, which of course the Smart Brick experience isn't very good anyway, so what's the point? Anyway, if any LAN members out there got that cool box and they don't want it, I do want it for my collection, so hit me up, I'll buy it off you. Next from Lego Fed, he says there is also a mural painted in downtown LA for the Sound Brick sets. And over the last week, I've continued to see more and more just insane ways that LEGO is lighting money on fire to try to promote the Smart Brick that is doomed to fail for LEGO Star Wars. They will undoubtedly get a bump in sales from all of the marketing that they are doing to the masses, the people, again, that don't watch videos that actually point out the bad things in these Smart Brick sets. But once those people get those Smart Brick sets in hand and realize just how terrible it sounds, how bad the minifigures are, or in some cases, of course, with the, like, Luke's Landspeeder, someone told me to check out the Amazon reviews, and I'll just take it at face value. It seems to be people that are buying these sets for their kids and then realizing that the set doesn't include the Smart Brick. Who could have predicted this? How could anyone have seen this coming? And it's just like, wow, what if instead of spending all of the money on marketing, you just included the brick in all of the sets? But then that still wouldn't solve the problem of the brick being bad, so none of it should exist to begin with. We all just an infinite loop of thought here. But yeah, I looked up the mural. It is admittedly a cool mural. The UCS Imperial Star Destroyer as a mural. That would be amazing, right? Or the UCS Millennium Falcon, or UCS AT-AT on Hoth on a mural. Like, stuff that could be really cool. But Smart Play, that's where they're putting the money. And it's very telling how much advertising money has gone into this.
This needs to stop now.
So much money that our next question will kind of cover from Fuego. He says, so you can pay hundreds of thousands. I think it's got to be well into the millions, many millions, maybe 10 million, maybe 20 million. I don't know. I have a hard time guessing because you see so many things going on with this Smart Brick stuff. They're flying people out. They're putting it on the Sphere in Vegas. They've got a mural here. They've got God knows what everywhere else. They've got this roaming station that they're taking from city to city for Smart Play at Targets to promote. And it was in Orlando over the weekend. Like I said, I was on a cruise. I was really crushed that I couldn't go on Sunday. It was only a stone's throw away from my house at the Millennium Mall, and I could have gone. My old editor, Pearson, actually texted me, and he's like, hey, what are they doing with this giant setup for Smart Play? And I was like, oh, you're so lucky you even get to see it being set up. Yeah, I was actually jealous. But obviously to drag something like that around and pay all the people that are going to run it at the different places, and it's got to cost a lot of money to just R&D set it up. All of the different store displays that you are seeing for Smart Play, there's probably half a dozen that I've seen already, and they're all unique and in some ways very cool. Of course, all of that is to try to make the product appear good, which ultimately it's not, and it's going to fail because of that. But he says you can't fix helmet holes, miscolored stickers, etc., thus increasing your prices again, promote the new stupidity, and increase the price. What a loophole. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a rubber room with rats, and rats make me crazy. Crazy. I don't know what that quote's from. Is that like a Joker quote? Anyway, this has been incredibly frustrating to watch them waste millions and millions and millions of dollars when you think of the cost of a mold being so exorbitant at tens of thousands or $10,000 that they can't just fix clone troopers or make a unique mold for the Mithril and the UCS Razor Crest that costs $600, or put arm printing and dual molded legs for minifigures in the UCS Death Star that should have them, and make accurate things here and there for things that should be accurate. You know, there's just so many examples that we could go through, and it's a real shame to sit here and have to talk about it like this. It's like, I feel like we are watching the downfall of LEGO Star Wars. I haven't really felt that way. Like, there have been things that have been really bad, and I'm very upset about them and have been over the years. But this, it feels like the tide has really turned, really shifted, and I don't like saying this, but it feels like Ninjago has usurped Star Wars with LEGO. I don't know how else to put it. It's not a good feeling. I don't know how it happened, other than just corporate greed and LEGO Star Wars designers and minifig designers not caring about the product that they're putting out. To me, it's that simple. There's people at the top of LEGO Star Wars above the designers that don't care about the product that they're putting out and are helping ruin the product that we cared about, that we as customers help build, of course, by buying. And so now, with all of the money that they have gotten off us, they just don't care anymore. Like, that's how it feels. And now they're on to the next thing to milk dry. Ninjago, don't worry. You might be in your 2014 prime right now. Think about this. 15th anniversary of Ninjago. A lot of the fans might think they're in the prime. It does not get better. This is it. It's over after this.
It's over. We are screwed.
So I said all of that, and then LEGO released their financial report where Ninjago is not even a top 5 LEGO theme. Of course, Star Wars is there, as it always is. So maybe it's something that's all in my own head and all in Star Wars fans' head that everything's so bad. Obviously, the sales are still decent if it's a top 5 LEGO theme, but at the end of the day, it feels like the product is getting much worse while I'm watching other themes get much better, and it's just sad to see because I want Star Wars to be the best. So perhaps Ninjago hasn't passed Star Wars in the box office, but it definitely feels like LEGO is treating it better. Though that says, have you heard of LEGO using AI in reviews they give themselves for smart brick sets on their own website? There's obvious botting used for positive reviews, but AI usage has been confirmed for the written reviews that LEGO clearly made themselves. You can see for yourself if you copy the review and paste it into GPT-0, a tool used to check if something is AI. I guess I got to test this, but first I do want to say that I have heard of something what I would consider, I guess they're both equally bad. It has been about 5 years since I heard this. I do not remember the person who told me. I don't remember their name. I just think this was something that was happening in Europe, and it was not to do with actually Lego.com. I think Lego, in some capacity, had sent some people free sets, and they told them to make reviews for these websites from like the perspective of like a grandma or a mom that had bought this set for their kids. And it just felt super shady and wrong to me, you know, the way that it was done. And I remember at the time wanting to like talk about it and make content about it, of course, because whenever Lego does something bad, it's very notable because like, why? You don't have to. You're Lego. You have all the money in the world. You have great products sometimes, and like you could just be awesome. Everything's not awesome. It's all alleged. Who knows, right? Like at the end of the day, it was all secondary information to me, tertiary information to you, and who knows, the guy could have made it up that told me. But I did believe it at the time, and I just wouldn't be completely shocked if LEGO was doing this, because if you look at some of the ratings on the website, I just really can't believe the X-Wing would have a 3.4 star rating on Lego.com given the insane price and the low quality, the terrible build, the way the brick sounds. Like, it's hard to believe it would have that high of a rating. But let's see what people are saying, I guess. And there was one that I saw. This one, okay. Happy parent and LEGO fan. Been a big LEGO fan ever since my childhood in the 80s. Getting kids rekindled my interest. Getting kids. People have kids. They get kids if they adopt them, I guess. But who says getting kids? Like, I don't know. It's obviously one of those things where everyone's so, you know, tipped off to AI being out there now. It's like, is this AI? Is that AI? When most of it's probably not, and people are just paranoid about it. But it's like, whoever would say they got kids or they're getting kids? You get a dog. Like, getting a dog rekindled my interest would be a sentence that makes sense. So I've never used this GPT-0 website, so I'll try it out for myself and we'll see what it says with this review. So we'll paste that right in and scan. Oh, I gotta verify that I'm human. It didn't even make me verify. That's crazy. All right, no, I don't want to pay for it. Text is under 100 words. Highly confident that the text is entirely human. All right, we're 0 for 1. Okay, who writes Star... This is another one. Star Wars, but in italics. I mean, obviously it's the proper way to write it, and that's what my English teacher would tell me. But... And maybe they're just well-spoken enough and educated enough that they care enough to write their Lego.com review in italics. But let's throw this one in here and see what happens. Scan. Ooh! All right. See, I caught it. I caught that one. Oh, man, I'm good. I'm getting good at this. I'm 50%. I'm 50%. That's a good batting average. Wow. No, right. But, like, okay, I'm reading the rest of this. But who would write, the pieces are solid Lego quality. The designs look great. No, they don't. Objectively, the designs do not look great. That is, I mean, you can argue it's subjective. It's really not here. The X-Wing is horrendous, especially. Definitely worth it for fans with the, this is, oh, what is this thing called? I saw someone on like Instagram Reels say they got in trouble because they used it and only AI uses it. But that's a good one too. Yeah, because there it is again. The double dash or whatever it is. And again, we might be onto something. Oh, man. Yeah, this one's also AI. This one's definitely AI. Look, it like Lego Star Wars in italics. But Lego is not all capitalized. So let's throw it in there and see what it says. And by the way, it's fascinating. Like, all these 5-star reviews, so helpful. This is what I'm talking about, I think. Okay, hold on. We'll come back to that. Oh, man. It's going deep today. All right, so let's get rid of this. This one, obviously, AI, given the way that it's written. This one, on the other hand, not as sure of, but the Star Wars in italics, I think, is a giveaway. Confident it's human. I love Lego Star Wars. I saw this set at Walmart and decided to pick it up. The build experience was very fun with it divided into separate mini sets. Yeah, I guess, like, who the heck would... Okay, yeah, maybe that one is human. I didn't really read the rest. I just saw Star Wars italics and jumped to conclusions. Anyways, you have this thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I've seen it in the past, but received complimentary product from the Lego System A-S. And, of course, they give it a 5-star rating, and they say it's so great. I don't know what program, because I don't think this is like a LAN thing. I think this is a completely separate thing. Yeah, whoever wrote this review obviously was paid off, and you can't like go to their account to see all of their other reviews. But yeah, that one, of course, gifted to them by Lego. Let's see if we can find... I doubt we'll ever be able to find a non-5-star rating. This one also feels like AI because they put Star Wars in italics, but if it was AI, why would they not give it all 5 stars? But that's weird. It's a 4-star, 4-star, 5-star, but the overall is not 4.33 stars. It's 5 stars even. So they're doing a little maybe creative rounding there. Let's see. Let's throw this in here and see what it does. Scan. Another human one. Anyway, I'm not going to spend all day going through every set and all of the reviews to see which ones are or aren't AI, but obviously we have one example that is pretty clearly probably AI here, and the ultimate reality here is that anyone could have done that. There is no reason necessarily to believe that Lego went and did that. It could just be someone trying to cause trouble on the internet by making Lego look bad or whatever. So you got to give them a little benefit of the doubt here, I feel like, but also just based on things that I've heard in the past, you just never know. Quick Brick says, how do you feel about the return of SpongeBob to Lego? It is a tremendous occasion. Yeah! I feel like I gotta have a better figure on the table for this. Lego SpongeBob is finally going to be back. I'm actually very excited about this. So you're gonna get SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward's house with this set. Hopefully in the future we'll get a Krusty Krab, because I know that's the one that had passed the ideas threshold of 10,000 votes, I believe, multiple times. So I think it'd be pretty bad if they don't do a Krusty Krab. I also feel like it should be an ideas set attributed to the people who have been trying to get it done with Lego ideas over the past few years. But anyway, we kind of saw this coming when the license seemingly got pulled for the other brick brand that had it or whatever, and they were like, yeah, we can't sell SpongeBob anymore starting on January 1st. And it was like, okay, something's up. It's one of those where there's smoke, there's fire type of cases, and it turns out there apparently is going to be a lot of fire here because it's a $220 SpongeBob set.
Oh, great.
So I kind of wonder what they'll do for minifigures. Like, will you just get a SpongeBob, a Patrick, and a Squidward, and they'll just leave it at that, and Gary? Or will they include a lot more of the cast and crew from random Larry the Lobster, Sandy Cheeks, Mr. Krabs? Will they all make it into this? Or perhaps better yet, maybe a little bit of a Death Star scenario where you include multiple different versions of the same character, like 3 different styles of SpongeBob for the different rooms in his house, and different versions of Squidward and Patrick. And I think there could be some potential there as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, SpongeBob's back, and this is great. So I'm very, very excited about that, and having recently purchased another SpongeBob set, I'm going to have to go out and buy more, I guess. Lego for Life says, do you think we will ever get the old-style box for Star Wars sets again with the Clone Trooper or Yoda? I don't think we'll ever get a one-to-one recreation of that necessarily. Like, will they literally redo exactly what they did? No. But I think we are trending in a direction where we could potentially see something equally as cool in the near future, given what we just saw with the Mandalorian. Now, I guess the caveat to that is that the Lego set boxes are no longer using the actual character pictures. Like, Yoda is Yoda. Nowadays, they would use Lego Yoda. And that might be less cool to you than actually having Yoda on there doing his jump versus like Lego Yoda wouldn't look as cool doing that same jump. He just wouldn't. But I think there's a very high potential that we could see something in that vein with a future Lego release, whether it's like 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars and they did a whole wave for that in 2028, and you'd get like the clone at the top right, just like they would have back in 2008, except now it's just the Lego clone instead. Like, there's a potential. I think the door is starting to open for that sort of thing again, but obviously I think the chance is fairly low because they also kind of seem to have a good thing going with, I wouldn't call it a good thing anymore. They kind of ruined it by not really following what they should be following with the different characters in the bottom corner and the color stripe. Episode 2 should be Darth Vader with a blue stripe, not a 332nd clone with an orange stripe looking at you, Slave One. Anyway, next from Special Shorts, he says, which is uglier, the year 2000 Millennium Falcon or the Smart Play Millennium Falcon? Look, the Smart Play Millennium Falcon has like the hole behind the cockpit, but generally for what it is, I think is a pretty decent looking Millennium Falcon. I think that 2000 Millennium Falcon is pretty dang ugly. It is not helped by the fact that it is an old gray. I think new gray does a lot of heavy lifting with this newer Smart Play Falcon. I think if this new Smart Play Falcon was in the old gray color, I would probably put the 2000 Falcon over it, because I just don't like old gray anyway for the most part, and so it's like, well, now you're on more equal footing, but that old gray really hurts the 2000 Falcon. It's also built out of like alien saucers. I wish I had it built currently so I could show it to you side by side. At some point in the future I will, and I'll do that, but yeah, it's just not built currently. So I think the 2000 Falcon, uglier. Wicked wants to know, can you list your top 5 to 10 favorite clones? For me, it's all about the ARC Troopers. So I'll give you 5 here, just top of mind to put some positivity into this video so people can't say I was all negative, because I know we've been talking a lot about the smart breaks. But I think 2005 Kashyyyk Trooper is up there for me. Absolutely love that one. 2020 Airborne Trooper from the Grievous Starfighter, also just a phenomenal figure. Like, it really shows what LEGO Star Wars can do at its peak modern day. You also have the 2012 ARC Trooper. Love that one. Backpack, got the pauldron and the waist cape and the helmet, just a very, very nice helmet. Also kind of a low-key one is the P1 Wolfpack Troopers. I just really like seeing that color in mass. It looks very nice. And then I think you got to go with the 2008 P1 Clone Wars clone just as a classic, but there are others that I would say are objectively better, like a lot of others, but it's the classic, so you kind of have to go with that one. Like, if it's my personal favorite, not necessarily rating it as like being the best, I guess is a good way to look at that. But anyway, next from HDS, he says, what is your favorite thumbnail out of all your YouTube videos? Keep up the great work. Love the vids. Thank you very much. This is like an impossible question to me. I have a lot of thumbnails that I really like. Like MandR 377, I think, was my Thrawn thumbnail. And I just love the blue background with me being blue in the front. And I think I did a good job mixing the minifigs and the sets and the text in. It just worked well. Every once in a while, as simple as it may be, I'll make a review thumbnail of just the box. And I'll be like, I really like this one. There's just something about it. It's super crisp. And that would kind of be something I would also consider. Maybe my $100 versus $1,000 AT-AT comparison thumbnail. Just the perspective of the smaller AT-AT in front with the larger one in the background. And I think actually having a tan wall in my bedroom at the time helped like give those a little bit more color behind them so they pop more versus if I had it on this white background. And then of course the money down on the bottom left, really popping as well. So I guess continuing to look here, another interesting one is my Temu one, and that one actually Pearson did, and I thought it was a weird one. I was like, this will never work, and it has turned out to be one of the most successful videos on the channel, probably because of the thumbnail. I mean, the thumbnail is what gets you in the door for the most part, and having that scary accolade with the orange Temu logo, me going like this, and then the bright blue background, like the colors just worked, and like the fear kind of given in the thumbnail works, and just everything about that one I think worked out very well. The world's smallest Lego store thumbnail was a fun one to put together because like you had to make it feel very cramped, and that was very enjoyable. And then if we go down to the Death Star, apparently there's a new globe thing out for the soccer ball that I need to make into a Death Star like I did with the literal globe back in 2022, so I might do that because people have been asking me to do it. But yeah, I liked that one. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of great thumbnails. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. Oh, the Death Star Air review. That's a good one. That's probably the funniest thumbnail I've ever made. I'm going to stick with that one, I guess. Next from Lindsay, they say, do you think the new UCS N1 Starfighter will have a new Din Djarin minifig or a new R5-D4? And I think LEGO will keep it really simple with this one. It's, I think, just going to be a Mando figure and a Baby Yoda, and they'll both be the new updated version, but effectively the version that you see in the $45 ATRT attack. Or perhaps the Grogu will be the version with the armor from the more expensive sets. Is the Grogu in the ATRT attack without the armor? I don't remember. But Grogu with his Beskar armor, and then Mando in his just normal attire from these newer sets. I don't think it'll be anything special. I don't think you're going to get anything exclusive there. You know, you just look at the history of these $240, $200 UCS sets, and it's typically pretty on rails unless there's a reason for it not to be. Finally, from James, he says, Ryan, are you continuing to hit the gym? Just a pause outside of LEGO Star Wars. And no, I've not been to the gym but a few times since maybe October or November, because I had been going, I think, 3 times a week for like 3 or 4 months, and then the UCS Death Star came out, and I spent 5 days all day every day working on that review. I stopped it broke up my grind, it broke up my schedule, and I just never went back. And so I will probably start going again here soon. It's about time. But yeah, I got knocked off basically, and so I haven't really gone. And the other thing that happened, I was lifting a lot. That was really what was happening. And then my 2 basketball courts that were closest to me have gone away. They were gone. There's no more indoor basketball near me. I have to drive quite a bit further to go play. And so, you know, the group of people that I like playing with don't all play together anymore. It's just really sad when that happens. You know, I had a good thing and they took it away. No more basketball. So I got to figure that out because I don't want to play outside. It's just horrible. It's Florida. Why would you want to play? I did my time. I want to play inside. If you have any questions or topics for next week's episode, please, no smart play, no land. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about some new stuff. So I don't know, just hit me with some wild stuff. But anyway, hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new here. You can check out more LEGO Star Wars content on the end screen now.